Hi, welcome to a new episode in the Internet Surfer, hosting the most horror and creepiest stories from Reddit. Please don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe. Enjoy.
Ever lost sleep over horror?
Ever lost sleep over horror? I have. There's something about the darkness that creeps in when the lights go out, isn't there? I remember binge-watching horror films late at night, heart racing, every creak in the house amplifying my fear. It's fascinating how our minds conjure up the worst scenarios. The fear of the unknown grips us, turning shadows into monsters. Did you know that horror films can actually be a safe space for exploring fear? They trigger adrenaline, making us feel alive even when we're terrified. But then there's that moment when you're lying in bed, replaying every chilling scene, and suddenly, every rustle outside feels like a threat. It's a wild paradox, seeking out fear for the thrill, yet dreading the aftermath. The next time you find yourself wide awake, haunted by what you've seen, remember, it's just your imagination running wild. But isn't that what makes horror so captivating? I know it's a bit of a stereotype, but horror media has never kept me up at night. In fact, it's quite the opposite. There's something invigorating about a well-crafted horror film. The suspense, the twists, the adrenaline rush, it's like a roller coaster for the mind. I thrive on that tension, the way it grips you and pulls you into its world. Every jump scare and eerie soundtrack just fuels my excitement. It's not just about fear, it's about the artistry behind it. The cinematography, the storytelling, the way filmmakers play with our emotions. I find myself analyzing the choices they make, appreciating the craft. So while some might shy away from horror, I embrace it. It's a genre that challenges us, makes us confront our fears, and ultimately leaves us feeling alive. That thrill is what keeps me coming back for more.
Why are there not more people talking about the sleepless nights after horror movies? It's time to shed some light on the darkness. Horror movies are designed to mess with your mind, playing on your deepest fears and anxieties. But why do they keep us awake at night? It's not just the jump scares or the creepy music. It's the lingering fear that something might be lurking in the shadows. Your heart races, adrenaline spikes, and suddenly, every creak and groan of your house becomes a potential threat. Your mind stays on high alert, making it impossible to relax and fall asleep. And those horrifying images? They have a nasty habit of replaying when you close your eyes. Nightmares, anyone? But here's the twist. Some people crave this sleepless thrill. They love the rush, the sheer intensity, the psychological impact that lingers long after the credits roll. So, next time you're up at 3 a.m., wide-eyed and alert, remember? Horror movies aren't just entertainment. They're an experience. Sleep is for the weak. Horror is for the brave.
Watching horror movies is like strapping in for a thrilling roller coaster ride. You know that rush you feel as the ride climbs higher, your heart racing with anticipation? That's exactly how I feel when the lights dim and the opening credits roll. Each jump scare is like that sudden drop, sending adrenaline coursing through my veins. There's something exhilarating about facing fear in a safe space. It's a chance to confront the unknown, to explore the darker corners of our imagination without any real danger. The suspense builds, and just when you think you can breathe easy, bam! Another twist that leaves you gasping. And let's not forget the satisfaction of that cathartic release at the end. It's like stepping off the ride, heart still pounding, but with a smile on your face. Horror isn't just about fear, it's about the thrill, the excitement, and the shared experience of screaming with friends. It's a wild ride that leaves you feeling more alive than ever. I lost some serious sleep over Smile. I finally streamed it at home while my fiance was at work, thinking I'd enjoy a little horror escape. But here's the kicker. My fiance talks and moves around a lot in his sleep, and I'm a super light sleeper. So I'm watching this creepy movie, and at one point I roll over, and there he is, passed out, smiling in his sleep. I mean, come on! After that, I couldn't shake the anxiety. Every little sound had me on edge. I kept thinking, What if he's possessed? Or worse, what if he starts smiling like that while I'm awake? I tried to focus on the movie, but all I could think about was how I'd rather face the horror on screen than the one right next to me. So yeah, I lost sleep over Smile, but not for the reasons you'd expect. The first time I watched Hell House, I was completely unprepared for the impact it would have on me. The way it portrayed the horrors of sin and the consequences of a life without faith was haunting. I remember feeling this chill run down my spine as the actors brought these intense, terrifying scenarios to life. It wasn't just a movie, it felt like a wake-up call. The imagery was so vivid that I found myself replaying those scenes in my mind long after the credits rolled. That night I tossed and turned, unable to shake off the fear. I kept thinking, what if this is more than just a story? It was a gripping reminder of the darker sides of life, and honestly, I didn't sleep well for days. It's wild how a film can stick with you like that, leaving you questioning everything. The first movie that really got to me was The Omen. I was only about 8 or 9 and that nanny absolutely terrifying. It was the 80s, so horror had a different vibe back then. More raw, more unsettling. After that, I dove into The Japanese Ring. That scene where the woman crawls out of the TV? I still get chills just thinking about it. Then came Smile, which had me on edge for days. Each of these films kept me awake at night, replaying those haunting images in my mind. It's fascinating how these stories stick with you, isn't it? I'm so glad I watched them. They shaped my love for horror in ways I didn't even realize at the time. The Chernobyl HBO series really messed me up. Watching it unfold, I couldn't shake the feeling of dread. It's not just a story, it's a reminder of how fragile our reality is. The idea that a single mistake can lead to catastrophic consequences is terrifying. It makes me think, what if something like that happened today? With our reliance on technology, a nuclear disaster could happen in the blink of an eye. The series captured the chaos, the fear, and the sheer human error that led to such a disaster. It's a real-life horror story that forces us to confront our vulnerabilities. We often think we're safe, but the truth is we're just one miscalculation away from chaos. It's a chilling thought that lingers long after the credits roll.
Hereditary left me in a state of sheer unease, a gripping tension that lingered long after the credits rolled. The way it explored family trauma, the haunting visuals, and that gut-wrenching score, it all seeped into my mind. I found myself staring at the ceiling, waiting for dawn, replaying those chilling moments. And then there's Lake Mungo with its eerie blend of grief and the supernatural. The way it captures the fragility of memory and loss is haunting. Both films tap into something primal, making you question what's real and what's not. They linger in the shadows of your thoughts, keeping you awake, forcing you to confront your own fears. It's a wild ride through the dark corners of the human psyche, and honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way.
I saw The Ring at a sleepover when I was about 10. I remember thinking, psh, this isn't scary, as the creepy scenes unfolded. But then, after the credits rolled, reality hit. We had to sleep in front of that same TV, the one that had just shown us a cursed videotape. I tried to act tough, but every little sound made my heart race. The shadows in the room felt like they were closing in. I kept replaying those eerie images in my head, convinced that Samara might crawl out of the screen at any moment. I was wide awake for hours, staring at that glowing screen, half expecting it to flicker back to life. Sleepovers are supposed to be fun, but that night? Let's just say, I learned the hard way that sometimes it's better to stick to cartoons. I remember the first time I saw Hellraiser in the theater. I was just a closeted queer preteen and that film hit me like a freight train. The imagery, the Cenobites, they were terrifying yet oddly captivating. I had nightmares for weeks, nightmares that twisted my understanding of fear and desire. Clive Barker's vision was so raw and unapologetic, it felt like he was peeling back layers of repression I didn't even know I had. The way he explored themes of sexuality and identity through horror was groundbreaking. Those nightmares? They weren't just fear, they were a reflection of my own struggles, my own hidden truths. Now looking back, I see how deeply that film resonated with me. It was more than just a horror movie, it was a haunting exploration of the darker sides of human nature. It left an indelible mark on me, shaping my understanding of both fear and self-acceptance. The fourth kind made me lose sleep, and I can't shake it off. It's not just the unsettling premise of alien abductions, it's the way it blurs the line between reality and fiction. The film is set in Nome, Alaska, where mysterious disappearances have haunted the town for decades. The chilling interviews with supposed victims, combined with the found footage style, make it feel all too real. What really gets under my skin is the psychological aspect. The idea that we might not be alone, that something could be watching us, is terrifying. The film plays on our primal fears, tapping into the unknown. I found myself questioning everything. What if there's truth behind those claims? The unsettling atmosphere lingers long after the credits roll, making it hard to sleep, hard to shake the feeling that maybe, just maybe, there's something out there. I've been a horror film junkie since I was about 4 or 5, but the one that truly got under my skin was Candyman, 1992. I was 12 when it came out, and I thought I had seen it all, but that film? It hit differently. I remember avoiding mirrors for weeks, and when that didn't work, I covered them up. Sleep? Forget it. I was wide awake until dawn. To this day, I resent that film for the sheer terror it instilled in me. It was the only horror movie that made me feel so vulnerable. Now other films? Bring them on. I can handle the jump scares and the gore. But Midsummer? That one drained me mentally. Not scared, just completely exhausted by the end. It's fascinating how horror can evoke such different reactions. Some films empower you, while others leave you feeling hollow.
Thanks for watching. Please comment, like, share and subscribe. The Internet Surfer on YouTube for more horror and scary stories.